Episcopal Diocese of West Tennessee, and welcome to Faithfully Memphis, our weekly show that broadcasts on WYXR 91.7 FM, live from Crosstown Concourse in Memphis, Tennessee. And each week we have the opportunity to interview an interesting guest to learn more about their life and their work, and also the role of faith in their work. So each Thursday, we begin with a saint of the day. And earlier this week, we celebrated the feast day of Henry Martyn. He was an English missionary who served in India and died in Armenia in 1812 when he was only 31 years old. Although Henry had a brief life, it was truly remarkable. He was educated at Cambridge University in England and fully intended on becoming a lawyer. But the priest at Holy Trinity Church in Cambridge inspired him to consider ordination and then to go to India as a missionary. So Henry traveled to Calcutta in 1806 as chaplain of the East India Company. During his 5 years in India, he preached the gospel, he organized schools, and he founded churches. In addition to his work as a missionary, Henry is known for his wonderful ability with languages and translations. So he translated the New Testament and the Book of Common Prayer into Hindi, which was a valuable aid to the young Anglican church in India at that time. He also learned Persian and then translated the New Testament into that language. In 1811, Henry traveled to Persia and became the first English clergyman to the city of Shiraz. He engaged in lots of theological conversations with Muslims there, and he actually corrected his Persian translations based upon their input. His goal was to visit Arabia and to translate the New Testament into Arabic. Wow, what a goal. But he was motivated because he thought that the gospel of Jesus Christ would really spread if people throughout the world could read the Bible in their own native language. He was traveling to Constantinople in current-day Turkey in 1812, and during that trip, he actually died. The Christian Armenians of the city in Turkey buried him with the honors that they normally gave only to one of their own bishops. And he is remembered as one of the founders of the modern church in India and in Iran. So on this day, we give thanks for the life of Henry Martyn, a man who sort of went to college with one goal in mind, but because of his relationship with a priest, pursued ordination and actually allowed the gospel to spread in places far and wide because he devoted all of his talents and abilities to translating the Bible into other languages. So we are broadcasting from WYXR 91.7 FM here in Memphis, and they just finished a major campaign to raise money for this station, and they made 100% of their goal. So thanks to everyone who contributed, and it's never too late to give. Just go to WYXR.org if you would like to support this station. So this morning, I'm very happy to introduce Elizabeth Ennis, who is Senior Development Manager for the American Cancer Society here in Memphis, and she coordinates many programs, including Real Men Wear Pink in Memphis. So the American Cancer Society is a nationwide, community-based voluntary health organization dedicated to eliminating cancer as a major health problem. Their headquarters are located in Atlanta, but they certainly have regional and local offices throughout the country to ensure that they have a presence in every community. And Elizabeth is here with us in the Memphis office. So Elizabeth, welcome to Faithfully Memphis.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Great. So I understand that you're a native Memphian. Can you share a little bit about what it was like to grow up in Memphis?
Absolutely. So yes, born and raised. I grew up in Midtown, and I love this area so much. My mother moved here from Kentucky. My father moved here from North Carolina and was part of the Navy, and they met and had myself and my 2 younger brothers. And so we've been here our whole lives. We moved out to Carterville about when I was 12 years old. And so I've kind of been all over this city, but I love so much about what Memphis is, the people of Memphis, how we support each other here in Memphis. And so it's happy to be a Memphian.
Great. And I understand that you have a connection to the Episcopal Church because at one time you were a student at Grace St. Luke's School. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. I was at Grace St. Luke's from 3 to 12 years old. Wow.
And that school is still going strong and doing well.
They are. We actually had a little mini reunion the other night. So it was great to see everyone.
Wonderful. So, when I think about cancer, I think just about everybody has been impacted by cancer. If not personally, then knowing a family member or friend. I looked up some statistics and learned that 1 in 3 people will be diagnosed with some sort of cancer in their lifetime. So I wondered if you could tell me some of the things that the American Cancer Society is focused on here in Shelby County to assist folks who are struggling with this disease.
Absolutely. So we actually have several programs and services here locally that we offer for patrons of Memphis and for people that are traveling into Memphis to receive treatment. Things like our Harris Hope Lodge, which is located right next to Sun Studio on Union Avenue. We house cancer patients traveling to Memphis to receive their treatment. They can stay with us at any point during their cancer journey for free. And it kind of provides that home away from home for them while they're going through that treatment. We have a program that offers free rides to treatment for Shelby County residents that may not have the support system that others may have. Might need a ride to a consultation appointment or a follow up, and we can provide that. We have a huge base of volunteers that help us manage that, and so a lot of things we're doing there. But there's just so many other things that we do to help people as they're going through those journeys.
Wow. So I know one of the things that you're really involved with right now is the Real Men Wear Pink. And I understand that this is the 7th year of this program. So what does this involve?
So Real Men Wear Pink is such a fun campaign. It got started as a way to get men more involved in the fight against breast cancer. Breast cancer is primarily known as a women's disease. 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. But it also impacts men as well. 1 in 3 men might be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. So it's a disease that, again, mostly is associated with the color pink. And so men wanted to help the women in their lives fight back, and were unsure of how to do that. So they actually got started in the Jackson, Tennessee area, brought to Memphis 7 years ago. And it's a way for men to get involved by wearing pink and starting those conversations. If you see someone out, you see a guy out and he's wearing pink for 30 days in a row, you're probably going to ask, what's going on? Why are you wearing so much pink? And so it starts that conversation. It starts the opportunity for them to share, the information that they know and get from people like me to kind of share out, spreading awareness about, making sure that the women in their lives get screened for get their mammograms or they get their cancer screenings. And so they do that. And then obviously on top of that, they help raise money. And that money that they raise goes towards, breast cancer research. It goes towards those local programs and services. And so it's just a really cool opportunity for men to be involved in the fight against breast cancer.
So is it taking place during the month of October?
It does. It kicked off for us locally at the end of September. We had a big reveal party, but it runs, October 1st through November 1st nationally. So for us, it's we know that men like to compete a little bit. So we like to lean in on that and see if they can compete to see who can raise the most money.
Got it.
Here locally, we we reach out all year long and recruit distinguished men, prominent men in the Memphis area to be a part of it, to use their networks and kind of spread that awareness. And so at the end of September, we kind of brought them together. We hosted a big reveal party and revealed our 2021 class to the public and to our media partners, and just kind of said, all right, guys, like, get out there, wear that pink, start spreading awareness, and see what you can do to make a difference.
You know, I think the NFL has gotten into that too, because I've seen during the month of October in normal years, I'm not sure about this year, you know, some of the players having pink or different things on.
Yeah. So actually we, the American Cancer Society has partnered with the NFL through a program called Crucial Catch. And they wear pink, you know, all month of October. They work with, you know, different sports programs, especially football programs throughout the country with high schools and colleges and stuff like that. And so, yeah, they're a huge partner for us. You know, there's millions of people watching the NFL games and seeing that they're wearing pink and seeing that they're kind of sharing that message with us. So that's exciting.
That's great. So what are some of the other initiatives that the American Cancer Society is handling here in the Memphis area?
Yeah, so this year we also launched a new program directly focused on health equity. You know, one of the big things that we face is making sure that when patients are diagnosed, it shouldn't matter, you know, what part of town you live in. It shouldn't matter the color of your skin. It shouldn't matter how much money you make. You know, we're really leaning in and focusing on finding ways to make sure that anybody that gets diagnosed with cancer, you know, has the same opportunities and the same abilities to treat it in the best way. So really leaning in on health equity. You know, we have research across the nation. We actually have, I think it's $12.5 million invested right now here in Memphis through, you know, St. Jude does a lot of work with us, UT Health Science Center. And so just making sure that we can make a difference, you know, across the nation with what we're doing for the American Cancer Society, but making sure that people know what we're doing here in Memphis is huge as well. Like I said, health equity is a huge factor for us, and especially in Memphis, you know. So we want to make sure that we can provide as many opportunities, as many resources as we can. Are there any other sort of activities or functions coming up that the public could get involved in if they want to learn more about what you guys are doing? Absolutely. Absolutely. So we actually just had our big Making Strides Against Breast Cancer walk. It was this past Sunday out at Tiger Lane. It was a beautiful day. Yeah, the weather was gorgeous last weekend. It was perfect. And we had about 4,000 walkers that came out. Wow. You know, we were really unsure of what to expect. You know, people are people still hesitant with COVID, right? But we also know that people want to get out and they want to show their support. So it was really beautiful. You know, we work with a lot of corporate partners around Memphis. We also work with the Zeta Tau Alphas at Christian Brothers in Arkansas State, and they came out and provided a really beautiful survivor experience for all of our survivors. They did a really beautiful butterfly release before kind of kicking off the walk, so that was exciting. We just had our Relay for Life events that, you know, it's one of those events where, you know, we celebrate survivors, we celebrate caregivers, and honor those people that have passed from cancer of all types. We had that at Shelby Farms a couple weeks ago, and then coming up in November, we have a big, we're calling it our Hope Gala Breakfast. So we have a gala that we typically put on. This year we're kind of shifting things a little bit, and I'm hosting a breakfast for people to come and really learn about what the Hope Lodge is and what it does and how we can provide help to people going through that cancer journey. So it's coming up in November. But yeah, we've always got something going on. We're trying to find different ways to just get everybody involved, because we know that everybody, most everybody has been impacted by cancer in some way. And we know it's not all, you know, breast cancer. So we lean into that, but obviously October, being what it is that's the focus this month. Wow. So, you know, cancer is such a scary topic. I would imagine that anybody who gets that diagnosis, regardless of how things turn out, it probably is a defining moment in your life. And so I wonder, how does your faith or
the things that you believe in, how does that kind of play into your work, and what even drew you to this work in the first place?
Well, I just really knew that I wanted to be part of something for the greater good. Right. I wanted to lean in and be a part of something where I was making a difference in the work that I was doing every day. And I really do feel like I am doing that now. I'm not someone that has a direct story. I don't have a cancer story. I don't have a direct impact. My grandmother had cancer. But it was something that it was so long ago when I was a child, I never realized it until later in life. And so, doing what we do now, meeting so many people that have been touched, that have gone through a cancer journey on their own, have lost somebody, it's very interesting to hear, how they lean in on their faith and what matters to them. And, being able to see that, at the end of the day, just kind of keep pushing, keep praying, keep doing what we can do to make it to that next step of getting through that journey, or, just kind of processing what we've been through is something that I've learned a lot about.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
So it sounds like that this job has actually been a learning for you. Not only are you sharing information with others and helping them learn, but that you're learning as well.
Oh, absolutely. I'm learning new things every day. Absolutely.
Yeah. So now you did mention the Hope Lodge, and I wondered, are there opportunities if any of the listeners would like to volunteer? What sorts of volunteer opportunities are available either at the Hope Lodge or with any of your initiatives?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now with our Hope Lodge, obviously we're under kind of some stricter restrictions
because of COVID.
Right. That limits us a lot on volunteer opportunities. We, in years past, it's always been a really great way for people to come in, tour the Hope Lodge, provide a meal or provide an experience, because again, when people come into Memphis to receive that treatment, they're staying at the Hope Lodge with us. When they're going through treatment, they're typically not really up for getting out and going to find dinner or whatnot, or going to do things. So we would have groups that would come in and, provide that meal, provide a game night or a movie night or, around Christmas. And we're, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out this year, but we would have, trees decorated all over the house just to kind of get people in that Christmas spirit and things like that. One big way that we can ask, Memphians or people to get involved is, we run and operate basically like a hotel. Yeah. So, things that you would use, toilet paper, coffee, creamer, things like that. We are looking for donations. Anything that you would typically use at home, our patients use while they're here, because it is that home away from home experience. And so, any kind of donations that people want, we, would love to have them dropped off at the Hope Lodge if they can. We've had some organizations that have done some big drives for us and brought in some supplies, but that's a big way. And then obviously as we move through the year, we don't have a ton of events left in 2021, but in 2022 we will pick them back up again, and we'll definitely need volunteers to help us pull those events off.
Got it. So is there like a volunteer coordinator or someone with the American Cancer Society who helps coordinate all that stuff?
Not necessarily. We actually kind of manage as development managers. We manage our events and kind of manage those on our own.
Got it.
We have partnered with Volunteer Odyssey, which is a local volunteer program, and they've done a great job of helping us kind of get that message out of recruiting volunteers. And so yeah. We lean on that a lot. Yeah.
So if people were interested in learning more, is there a website or a phone number? How would they get in touch with you all?
So there is. So we have a website. It's a national website, but it can be trickled down into searching for Memphis. And it's www.cancer.org. Pretty easy to remember. And then we also have a Facebook page, and it's, ACS Tennessee. We have a Memphis Strides Facebook page. We have an Instagram. We have a Twitter. So just getting connected with us on the local social media platforms is probably the best way. And one thing I want to say, kind of going back to that website, not only is it an opportunity for people to go and look for volunteer opportunities or figure out what's going on in Memphis and get involved that way, but that is also one of our biggest resources that we have for anybody to use. that has any kind of questions. We have that, and we have our hotline. So cancer.org has a wealth of information. If anybody has any sort of questions about just any kind of cancer diagnosis, treatment, clinical studies that are going on around the country, things like that, they can go visit that website. And then the hotline, which is 1-800-227-2345, is a really great resource. You know, if you have a question at 2 a.m. on Christmas morning and you want to call and ask a question about insurance, you can do that. There'll be somebody there.
So
to
it's
talk
24
to you.
hours a day.
24/7, 365. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So give the number again, please.
It's 1-800-227-2345.
Wow, that's a great resource. I didn't know that you all provided that.
Yes. And it's come in handy, you know, just again, questions of, hey, I have a question about my diagnosis. I want more detail about this, or I'm not sure how to file this insurance claim, or, I'm looking for this resource. Can you help me get connected? Huge tool that we highly promote out to people.
Wow, that's great. So we've mentioned COVID a couple of times, and I would imagine that that's really had an impact on how you all have done business over the past year. But it sounds like you have a really great social media strategy. Is that an important part of how you all spread the word about the activities and things you're involved in?
It definitely is. And obviously social media is such a big thing, especially now.
Yep.
Just between, Facebook and getting out messages about our events, promoting our events. We also share information just about, cancer screenings in general, or, new research studies that pop up and things like that. So it is a great way to kind of follow along and see what we're doing. But yeah, I mean, we've even leaked over into TikTok and all that. And so I'm one of those elder millennials that still isn't quite sure of how to use TikTok. I watch the videos, but we're on there and we're sharing information. And obviously, a lot of times people kind of associate cancer with being something that affects the older generation, or obviously here in Memphis, people know St. Jude, so it's a very young. They don't think about people that are, our age in their mid 20s and 30s and whatnot. And so, social media is one of those ways to kind of really engage those people and make them aware too that cancer affects everybody, And so, how can we make that relatable to anybody and everybody, and the best way to get that information out there, and the best way to get involved in events that we do to raise that money and awareness and things like that. So social media is our friend these days.
Yes. I think all of us are relying on social media a lot more than we ever thought. Yeah. So, when you think about everything that's happening in this world, there are a lot of things to be discouraged about or sad about with COVID and just the situation in the world and all the suffering, and then cancer on top of it. So I wonder, Elizabeth, what is it that gives you a sense of joy, that keeps you, positive and looking forward, even though you're dealing with a lot of serious issues at work?
Yeah. It's a really great question. It's just meeting people and hearing their story. Not everybody's going to have a positive outlook, especially if they've been diagnosed with cancer or have gone through something. But there's so many people that I've met that are the most positive people that I've ever met in my life. And they're the ones that are either currently battling cancer or have battled cancer. And it's just seeing their joy kind of leak out into everybody else, and kind of feeling that positive vibe and wanting to just kind of be better in that, and kind of help spread the word of keep pushing, keep going. It's going to be, tomorrow's a new day. It's going to be okay, and just, I don't know, feeling that excitement of meeting new people and hearing their stories and finding ways that I can potentially help them, even if it's in the smallest way of just providing that hotline number to them and saying, here's something to help you out. That's something that really gives me joy and makes me love the work that I do. Got it.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So what's one thing that you have learned from all these interactions with people that you think you'll really take to heart and continue to use in your own journey? I
would say, just meeting people and understanding that, like I said, cancer impacts everyone, realizing that there's so many different types of journeys. There's so many different ways to treat things. There's so many different opportunities for people to, find what works for them and kind of move on with that, is something that has definitely been an experience just because, I wasn't impacted by cancer. So I didn't know. I just thought you get diagnosed with cancer, you go through chemo, you move on. And that's not true. There's so many different ways to treat things. So, like I said, I'm learning something every day with this position. And it's been a really great experience, really great opportunity. Again, the work that we do nationally is huge, but realizing the impact that we have here in Memphis alone is very cool.
Yeah. So I guess that's a good reminder, regardless of whatever obstacle it is we're confronting, whether it's cancer or something that doesn't have to do with health at all, there might be more avenues or more resources or more ways of finding a solution than we initially think. So maybe it's about being open to some unexpected pathways that might get us to a better place tomorrow than we are today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Well, Elizabeth, thank you so much for being part of the show today. And we really hope that the listeners will check out the website for the American Cancer Society to learn more about what the organization is doing here in Shelby County, and also to call that 1-800 or the toll-free hotline 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, if you do happen to be dealing with cancer.
Absolutely. And if you're interested to see who's part of this year's class of the Real Men Wear Pink candidates, definitely check them out. It's at realmenwearpinkacs.org/MemphisTN. There's a lot of really great guys that you might know that are on there that are raising money. So if you feel inclined to go and check it out and donate, then we definitely encourage that.
Great. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
So I wanted to actually share a few upcoming things that are happening that may be of interest to the community. The first thing is that for those of you here in Shelby County, did you know that approximately 400 Memphians are buried at Winchester Park, which is located just a few blocks from St. Mary's Cathedral, which is located at 700 Poplar Avenue? So on October the 31st at 4 p.m., members of the cathedral are going to meet at Winchester Park. They're going to actually do a brief service to commemorate the citizens who are still buried there. And there will also be a trunk or treat event for neighborhood children, and that will take place from 4 to 5:30 on October the 31st. The second event that I would like to make you aware of is something that is happening right here at Crosstown Concourse. On November the 2nd at 5 p.m., there will be an interfaith COVID-19 memorial service. This will be an opportunity to reflect and remember all of those who have died to COVID here in Shelby County, and it will be open to the public at the plaza at Crosstown Concourse, again, on November the 2nd at 5 p.m. So we encourage you to participate in that. The other thing is that the Barth House Ministry at the University of Memphis on Patterson Avenue is having a number of things. Every Thursday evening, there is yoga outside on the grass at 6 p.m. And on Thursday, October the 28th at 7 p.m., there will be a series of films shown, followed by a discussion on the theme of death or the afterlife. And again, that event will be Thursday, October the 28th from 7 to 9 p.m. And that is open to the public, as is the yoga that is offered on Thursday evenings at Barth House. And And it's all free. And finally, for those of you getting ready for the holiday season, and I know this year will probably be a little different than last year because I didn't really go out shopping for presents last year. I think I just did gift cards and things like that. But the Barth House Ministry at the University of Memphis is actually going to have an arts market on Saturday, December the 4th, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's a day-long outdoor COVID-safe activity with shopping as well as local artists and food and music. So if you are looking for gifts for the holiday season, consider coming out to Barth House on Saturday, December the 4th for some shopping. We thank you for tuning in to this week's program. As you know, Faithfully Memphis is broadcast on all the places that you normally listen to podcasts, including Spotify and Apple Music. So we hope that you will listen to us on those platforms and also follow us or like us. We love to get comments and feedback about the show. And so until next Thursday, my sisters and brothers, stay safe and stay positive.